RingGangRadio.com. Take over. Last mission. Final boss mode. What it do?
You know, but I mean, bro, this was Triple G. I mean, obviously, so why you got paid, and now, of course, we're seeing the third fight on his deal with DAZN because he's on a 6-fight deal. He's on fight number 3, and he fought his IBF mandatory Kamil Szeremeta. Now, obviously, you know there are the usual jokes. Now, IBF has the weirdest mandatories. That's not without question.
Yeah, the IBF's has always the IBF is always the go-to mandatories for the fucking boxers you can't fucking spell their name.
Yeah, right. It's the jobber list, man.
And it's unfortunate too because the IBF it's a U.S. based organization, and you know in the 90s they got caught up with some scandals, so they have to fly straight. The IBF almost got took away, you know, in the courts.
So, they be flying 2 straight because sometimes I'll be like,
chances. The WBC almost got taken out, but they still in their crooked ways. So
yeah, but they're not under any U.S. jurisdiction though. That's the whole thing. You know, IBF is right in New Jersey. You know, so they ever since then they've been flying kind of straight. You know, unfortunately, if you don't fight their mandatory, they will strip you. They've done it to Triple G and Canelo in recent years. So they don't fuck around. And unfortunately, they flew up some horrible mandatories that no one really wants. And then you have to.
And then they get mad because people don't want to defend against them when they got major fights floating around.
Plus, they're the only ones that have the 10-pound rehydration clause,
which is actually a plus. I actually dig that. I don't mind that. It's just. The quality of mandatory, I don't think there hasn't been a quality IBF mandatory in some time. Maybe Josh Taylor might actually have a decent one coming up. He was not Josh Taylor. Teofimo Lopez, you know. But yeah, the IBF mandatories be for the more popular divisions.
Because usually the guys, the big guys the guys that are ascending usually don't go the IBF route. They always go the WBC route or the WBA route.
Yeah, because they can't. Yeah, because of the whole weight thing. Because they don't put their right back.
Yeah. You know, so you notice when you get a good IBF fight, when a contender really step up, he kind of earned that shit. Because it works every now and then, but for the most part, you get
Spence.
Yeah. Spence is a good example of that.
Yeah, but Szeremeta unfortunately does not have that type. He was undefeated. He was 21, 22-0, but he only had 5 knockouts. And really, the only time anyone would actually remember seeing him because he was on the undercard for one of Triple G's fights. I think it was either the Rolls or the Derevyanchenko fight. One of those fights.
I think it was the Rolls fight.
Yeah, and he scored a knockout. It wasn't like it was a bad fight, but it was just it was a short knockout, but it was just who? And then obviously, you got this why shouldn't he fight this mandatory? Simple, because the IBF will strip him eventually if he doesn't.
Yeah, and he needs to get that record title defense in that's not consecutive, but they keep beating us over the head with it.
And on top of that, it was good to at least get that shit out of the way, so at least Triple G can actually try to find some better fights in 2021.
And that's the thing. I didn't mind this fight.
Is it a regular defense or a GameStop defense or a super defense?
Yeah, for real, all these damn different defenses. But I didn't mind this fight because I know he had Derevyanchenko last time, and that was a war.
That was an absolute war.
Dude was obviously sick when I looked at it. Yeah, now from when I seen him this time, I could tell he looked like he got a tan. It's dude was kind of
ripped at the weigh-in. He was
ripped. Yeah. Honestly, this is the best Golovkin probably looked physically, maybe since the first Canelo fight.
Yeah, he was on his dad bod shit for the couple fights in between.
Yeah, shit, the Marios, the other ones, dude
looked like he did when he was actually in his prime. So I was like, okay, this is good.
Yeah, and then this was Martin Murray Golovkin.
Yeah. And then you see him in the ring, and obviously he rehydrated, and he looked like he was healthy. He looked big as fuck, actually.
Yeah, honestly, I could see him, fighting at 165 in a Canelo rematch rubber match. Like, cause I think they might do a catch weight, or it might be at 168 completely. So, but if it happens, but I think Golovkin could be there now.
He probably, it depends too whether or not either Triple G actually wants the middleweight belts, or or the super middleweight belts are going to be on the line, or whatever.
Man, he just want to get paid, bro. I don't think he care about the belts like that anymore.
Yeah, he don't care about that.
People just keep trying to tie it to him as a way to hate. It's about the belts now. I'm like, everybody starts out with about the belts, and then it becomes about that fucking bread and.
And he's getting plenty of it now. I mean, this is his retirement fund.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's like if you was ducked in your prime for 5 years, and you know what I'm saying, and you got a raw deal in your 2 biggest fights, you gonna change.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know why people think this nigga not human. Even with the De La Hoya comments, like. Y'all really believe Golovkin would take it easy on De La Hoya? Like,
fuck no.
Like, you really think he would have tried to beat the shit out of this man?
Triple G at his core, Triple G is a raw fighter. Like, Triple G is a fighter's fighter. Like
throwback.
You can say, good boy this and big drama show this, but dude is not one of those people that you actually really want to fuck around with. You can't.
And that's what Szeremeta found out, because he was hitting him with everything. Like, he made Golovkin look damn good. Like, Golovkin was landing jabs, double jab knockdowns, fucking the uppercut was unleashed,
and the head movement too. Like, he made
And this is the best he looked with Jonathan Banks. I'm gonna just be honest with you, because I haven't been liking this union until that fight.
Same here. I was thinking, like, Jonathan Banks is like, because I was like, Rosa was whatever, but he didn't seem like he had any answers for the Chico fight. Like, Triple G had to will himself in that fight, or not. But yeah, this one I was just like, okay, I'm seeing some maturation. Maybe because the 14 months or so that he was not fighting, maybe they did him some good. In terms of
he was rejuvenated. Like, I'm all for him. Like, honestly, before I was feeling like, man, I think Andre and Charlo could get him. Like, this is the best time, but I don't even know about that right now. Like, I think Golovkin might could still handle them dudes. So I want to see something.
Now, the only thing I would say, I did see, is like, I would say Triple G. He's gonna be 39 in a couple months.
I think they said April.
February, actually.
Oh yeah.
So, like, dude, like, he is slowing. Like, he is physically slowing. Like, you can.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Like, I wouldn't say he lost a step, but he's like at a half a step speed.
Right. I mean, he was never really a fast fighter, but
he wasn't. But it's like it feel like, I guess he was quicker with the hand speed, or I guess pulling the trigger on certain shots.
Yeah, but
I'm not saying he Brandon Rios or nothing, but
I think he's become a little more hittable now. But I mean,
I don't know. The defense was looking good though, so I can't say he was looking hittable.
No, this fight was good, but the fights before he was type hittable.
The thing to me is, like, dude used to have an incredible work rate, but you can still make he was kind of huffing and puffing a little bit in this fight. With Szeremeta. I think that's probably the one thing that I noticed. Like, dude was beating the shit out of him, but he was kind of huffing and puffing a little.
For some reason, Golovkin always kind of start huffing and puffing in the 5th and 6th round. Like we seen it in the Golovkin in the Canelo rematch, but Canelo was kind of giving it to him. So he was taking labored breaths, but. When he's going at you, like, damn, like, I'm like, damn, this nigga getting old. Like, he do be breathing hard sometimes. But
he just get an eventual second win. Like, he did in every fight that he had a second win.
He does, kind of like how Sergio Martinez does, but Sergio Martinez used to damn be, moving and running all over the place. So,
right.
And Golovkin is kind of standing with you and getting his second win, but the jab on autopilot.
Yeah, no, exactly. And then, like, he knocked Szeremeta down 4 times. Like, he was beating that ass like nobody's business. So, regardless of the fact that you saw him puffing and puffing, like, it was clear that Dude was like, I mean, it looked like he was playing with Dude, like it wasn't paused, so it was like, it didn't look like. I mean, Szeremeta had never like Szeremeta was hitting him the times he did, like Triple G was either dodging him or it's like, whatever.
Yeah, Szeremeta was trying, but it just, they were worlds apart with the levels, man. And I know some people like and this is why I say that there's the hate, because for as good as Golovkin looked, niggas was still on some, man. Golovkin in his prime, he bodies guys like that in 3 rounds, and I'm like, nigga, like dude was undefeated in the prime of his life. Like, can we give the guy some credit for fucking surviving that long and getting an ass whooping? Are we gonna act like Curtis Steven and Martin Murray ain't take Golovkin some rounds in his prime?
And even then, like I said, I mean, it wasn't like nothing. Like Triple G was beating this man. Like it wasn't like Szeremeta was on his feet like the whole time. Szeremeta went down 4 times and he got knocked down by almost every punch in the arsenal.
Yeah, so I don't understand how people were just like, you go through Twitter and it's like, man, Golovkin, he was supposed to knock him out in 3 rounds. That was supposed to be a first round knockout. Yeah, he's old now. I'm like, yeah, nigga, we know he's old, but he beat the shit out of this dude.
Yeah, never mind the fact that Szeremeta was he's undefeated. Like no one. I mean, as far as we know, he was never knocked down. Like we don't. Like these are the things that we were like. I mean, I think it's just more like appearance. Like like I mean, even undefeated fighters sometimes have a little upside to them. Like even if we don't know.
Because no one wants to lose that old. Like people saying Caleb Smith ain't have no heart. He had heart to take that beating.
He did. Yeah.
He didn't have the character to keep trying.
Right.
I can't say a man who, taking that type of punishment ain't got no heart. A lot of dudes would have quit, man.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I don't think he could have looked his brothers in the face or his father. It's too many fighters in that family where he know he couldn't quit.
Yeah.
So, I give credit, to Golovkin for beating dude ass and looking like he took a few swigs from the fountain of youth. But at the end of the day, we want to see him in some bigger fights, and hopefully we get that.
And now that the match goes out of the way, like obviously we will definitely have smoke for Triple G if he fights someone that's like either that's on the level of Szeremeta or lesser. That shouldn't be.
Munguia is the lowest level he could go right now.
Right. No, if he wants to face Munguia, like, hey, perfect,
Yeah, that's a good fight. Like, and then the reason why I say it's a good fight, I know people will say, well, Munguia don't have a belt. He doesn't have the name of an Andre, but it's a great action fight. And that's what niggas want to see. Right. So I can understand when people said they didn't want Canelo with Plant or Andre and them. We all remember the Laura fucking fight. Mm-hmm. And then the Trout fight wasn't no damn epic battle, so people want to see niggas throw hands with Canelo. People want to see dudes throw hands with Golovkin. All you mover guys, you just gotta have to start beating better fighters and making yourselves that dude to where it's like, well, I know he got a bad style, but they should fight him because he could beat him. Not where I know he got a bad style, so fuck it, that boring ass nigga, we don't want to see it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the difference, man. Like, I gotta put yourselves out there and make yourself available for these bigger fights. And
so I mean,
hopefully we get that. I like to see Golovkin with Munguia. I don't mind the Andre fight, the Charlo fight, the Canelo rematch. He got options, shit.
Yeah, just like just pick one. Just pick one. And I'd say, I'd say, and get behind it. Like, I mean, like I said, all of them pretty much damn near have their zeros, anyways. So it's like, you take a zero of some of these notable, fighters, and bam, you good. Like that's what we asked for. Like Szeremeta, he has a zero, but Szeremeta was just a mandatory that the IBF floated up.
It's a better win than Dominique Wade.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I'll say that. I mean, people could say, "Oh, I mean, he beat Solomon," but did he?
Technically, he did. I mean,
I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Did he?
But yeah.
I mean, Jermaine Taylor beat Solomon, but I don't think Wade did.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Triple G. Obviously, obviously, Triple G, like the time is ticking on him because, like, say, 39. Like, he's a great fighter, but it'll get to the point where even physically, if he starts declining a little bit more rapidly, that even people that were lesser physically, had lesser physical attributes in him in his prime, could actually take advantage. So it's like,
that's the thing. Look, he at the end of his career, he gonna be only fighting twice a year from now on anyway. That's what he's been doing. So I think it'd be cool for another year. Like, I don't see Golovkin fighting past 41, really.
Yeah, like, he has three fights left. So these fights should probably do it for him. So I would say, yeah, he turns 40 in 2022. So unless he wants to get his 3 fights out of the way in 2021, and wrap up his contract.
I just look at it like if those 3 fights include Munguia, Andrade, and Canelo, I'm straight.
Yeah, or like an Andrade, Saunders, and Canelo, and
yeah, any combination of that, maybe a Charlo brother or whatever,
Yeah, and we good, But yeah, like I said, yeah, you're right though. If Golovkin is 40, it's either because he has that 1 fight left, whatever, or the money that's being offered for whatever reason is too good. He might just do a one-off. But yeah, I think by the time 40 sits in, yeah, he's gonna be done. Hey, the question is he gonna leave on his terms or is someone gonna make him? That's the big thing. So. Yeah, no, it was, but yeah, it was entertaining to see Triple G look like he did before. So, and then also, I definitely want to highlight, because there was a fight that really did pop off on that Triple G card.
Well, too, the women's boxing match was good, but I know you're talking about the Gongora.
Gongora and Triple G's prospect, his boy Ali Akhmedov. Now, Akhmedov is a prospect, and I've seen him. Most of us have seen him fight like plenty of times. Like, and he's a good fighter. But one thing about being Triple G's, prospect, everyone wants to be Triple G, but not everyone can be Triple G.
Not everybody want to damn dedicate that jab.
Yeah, no.
Look, if you're gonna fight like Triple G, and you don't have 70% of your punches are jabs, you're doing it all wrong.
Right. And then, unfortunately, the prospect Akhmedov learned a hard lesson. When he fought when he got a replacement fighter, that I think they did it on a couple of weeks' notice or whatever. Carlos Gongora. And the funny thing is, Carlos Gongora, this wasn't his actual division. He fights at 160, not even 168. And dude, because there was a Ring TV article about him. Dude he only had 2.5 weeks because it was finalized after Thanksgiving to drop from 190 to 168. 2.5 weeks to do that. And his sparring was only against a heavyweight.
Wow.
So that's what makes this shit even more. And Gongora too is an undefeated fighter. Like, he was a 2-time Olympian for Ecuador, but he never got the attention for his skills. And the funny thing is too is like his previous fights, he actually fought at a card near where I live, near in Windham, New Hampshire, and I didn't know. And I know about those cards, but I didn't know they actually had those type of fighters on there. I've been to a couple, so it was like, damn, like they really reached. But even then, I thought Akhmedov, I'm like, okay, Akhmedov, he's training with Triple G, like, who's Gongora? You know what I'm saying?
These motherfuckers fought them 20 minutes from my house, and I couldn't even see this shit. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Like, Triple G is in this dude's neighborhood, Florida of all places. Like, gets to fight like that.
Fucking Hard Rock Casino at Hollywood, like.
Yeah, like I said, and this is the best of thing. Like, I complain about fights not being in my area, and now they've had like several cards. Like, Florida doesn't get these type of cards, and all of a sudden you have a Triple G in this neighborhood.
That's what I'm saying. That's a big name. Florida don't get like. The biggest name we had, I think, was Floyd back in 2005. And then that was like what, and that was a bullshit fight. That was a career mode fight. Fucking, you come down here to fight damn Bruce Sellers. Like, fuck out of here. You giving out football predictions while shoulder rolling right hands. Like, come on.
Yeah, no, and like this, like Triple G. But this fight was like this is one of those fights that you wish you could be there live, for because like I said, it was. I mean, honestly, anything
you overhyped it. You oversold that fight. It was a good fight, but I didn't get fight of the year from that shit.
I did. I mean, I thought that shit was excellent. Like
it was like no ebb and flow. It's like Gongora was getting his ass whooped the first half of the fight. It wasn't really competitive, and then he starts fighting back. And now the other guy, the bully's getting his ass whooped, and then he gets knocked out.
No, they were trading in those rounds. Like in the second half,
but it wasn't no real ebb and flow. It was like motherfuckers was literally taking turns, and you had the trading would just last for little parts of the round.
Well, the thing is, though, is the first half of the fight, I didn't think it would be much of a fight because Akhmadov was like lacing that dude, like he was hitting him with all types of shit. So like
that's what I'm saying. Like he can't be no fight of the year when the first 5 rounds was like mid.
They weren't mid, but like, they were like
okay. They weren't mid. They weren't special though. But it was just a guy getting his ass whooped.
But there was ebb and flow in the second half. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, it was more or less Akhmadov refused to make an adjustment, and Gongora was getting,
look, there was. I get it, but it wasn't enough ebb and flow to replace the first 5 rounds.
I mean, honestly, it was good enough. The
knockout saved it. Like, that's what kind of took it another level.
Well, the knockout saved it on different levels because going into the 12th round, Akhmadov was winning. Like on one, because obviously they scored the 12th round at the stoppage. So 2 judges had that shit 114, 112 for him, and that's fine. Like I mean, I'm not gonna be mad at that. But that one judge had that shit 116, 109, and there was no 116, 109 for Akhmadov in that fight. There wasn't. So the fact that Gongora was actually able to put him away in the final round was so necessary, and it was a good thing too. And the first knockdown was the fight ender. Like, dude, and this is why we always talk about uppercut season. Uppercut season was in full effect in that one. Like that left uppercut I dropped it for the first time. That shit it was over. It was it.
He didn't pull his uppercut back. He wanted to land it. Mm-hmm. Okay, Caleb Smith.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, Akhmadov, he crashed. Like, you could tell his eyes were spinning in his fucking head. He got up, and then promptly, Gongora lands a whole nother bunch of uppercuts and drops his ass. And, and dude was out there. Like, dude was, his head was in the clouds at that point. Like, the referee counted to 7, and dude was rolling over the place, and was like, yeah, no, you done. So it was a really, really, really good victory for Gongora, and apparently he has a contract option for Matchroom. So the rumor is he may get John Ryder next, which is
oh god, that fight, that Ryder and Guy fight was horrible.
Yeah, horrible. Yeah, I never want to see Guy on my TV screen, and shame on Ryder for wasting his buzz on that fight.
Yeah, right. It's like, damn, it's like Ryder and Caleb Smith. Y'all was the biggest losers this weekend.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Like no one gives a damn about y'all no more. Like,
yeah, maybe
y'all need to fight each other again.
Yeah, like honestly, I don't even care about the rematch too, because it's just like,
yeah, like they both were just so disgustingly unimpressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I picked Smith, so I'm not trying to even rag on him, but like, dude, like you gotta give me. Look, man, when Danny Garcia looked like he fought harder than you and threw way more punches, there's a problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he got beat up.
Yeah, shit was fucking.
And he was the smaller guy, so I mean, yeah, it's tough love over here, man.
Yeah, and then also as LB mentioned, the women's fight was actually pretty good too. And unfortunately, one of the women, Salgado, she came in overweight, so she couldn't win the belt off the champion. I was telling LB in the chat, I was like, damn, this Asian chick is pretty big. I was like, my goodness. Yeah. I think her last name was Choi, but it was a nice little spirited scrap, But,
yeah, it was.
I was thinking it could have been better though. Salgado actually came in there in shape. Instead of like she was kind of sloppy, but she was still landing on Troy because
she was slow as fuck, but she was landing.
Yeah,
Goodness, her hand speed was slow, but me personally, I hate seeing people with slow hands be landing so much. Like that shit's annoying.
Yeah.
Like how you get hit with that? Like I be losing it. I see that shit in the gym.
And then if you don't, and when there's no adjustment to make, you're just like, what the fuck? You know,
I'm like, do you want this Girl Scout throwing these hands with you? Like, nigga, like, you want to get pity patted? Do you want to get outworked by the tree sloth? Like,
yeah.
the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no. But like I said, it was just because I honestly, Troy probably made that shit a lot harder on herself. You know, just walking forward and absorbing all these damn shots. Like,
I'll be.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say about you said, people with slow hands landing. I mean, on the flip side, I find that fighters with slower hand speed don't telegraph their punches as often. So, I mean, that's the flip side to that.
They better enough. If they tip them off anymore, they would die.
Yeah. Word. So yeah, this shit is it was an interesting fight, man. It was very interesting fight though. So I mean, I was gonna probably see more of Troy because, like I said, Eddie likes to showcase a lot of female talent on his shows. So we'll most likely definitely we'll see her on there. So
shout out to Eddie Hearn for making women's boxing get bigger because you had other niggas heavier in the game and they weren't trying to contribute like he was. So
dude let off whole cards on them and everything. So you gotta salute his efforts on that.
Y'all women fighters, y'all gotta do y'all part and try to recruit more women fans and stop blaming dudes for men who already support you and saying that shit's sexist and yada yada yada. Like just put that out there. A little positive big brother energy.
Yeah, like I mean, if you can attract other women, you good. Like
because y'all doing everything else. Y'all on the platform. Y'all having good fights. I mean, shit, that's the next step, really.
Absolutely.
And get them endorsements and shit, and then shit. Then we on to something. So
we in business.
yeah, exactly. Shit. And